If I can take you back to the time of the announcement of the merger, we're very much in the midst of the global financial crisis, a time at which people were very much investing, I guess, for the short term and staying away from long-term investments. Your strategy very much was a long-term move. Did you have confidence in making such a big call in that economic climate?
5 previous recessions that I've been involved in proved to me that recessions go. Within a couple of years, maybe the Great Depression took a bit longer, but I was always confident it would end. It was a good strategy. There was no reason not to continue. And in fact, if you believe, as we believe, that you'd come out of the recession, then we needed to come out in a shape that was stronger than when we went in. And I think that happened.
And Don, your clients, how have they responded to the merger so far?
Yeah, they've been terrific. I think there's been great interest. Clearly, the legal market's been tossed up in the air a little bit, so that's been good for us because it's heightened the interest, I think, in what we've been doing. But clients have been very supportive.
Did you get any specific feedback from clients?
Absolutely. We've actually done a survey, and so we've got some quite interesting stuff. I guess the most interesting was a commentary from one client that said, if I have to be with a lawyer at 2:30 one morning, then I'd rather be with a Norton Rose lawyer than any other. So that was good feedback, good fun stuff.
From a people's perspective, what have the people of Norton Rose gained out of the merger so far?
Well, we've sent quite a few partners off. I think there's 4 or 5 partners. Sent one partner to London, one to Moscow, one to Singapore, one to Hong Kong, and more will follow. We've probably sent another 10 or 12 non-partners into various locations: Tokyo, Singapore, Hong Kong, London. So the opportunities are already happening, and people are quite excited by that. I think the younger people in the firm, and I include non-lawyers as well, are seeing that there's vast opportunities to go and do short-term, medium-term, long-term secondments in all sorts of places.
And in addition to those internal movements that you're just speaking about, outside of Norton Rose, are you drawing from that talent pool? Is Norton Rose hiring?
Yeah, we've got sort of quite a lot of job ads out there which jointly introduce Hong Kong and Australia and Singaporean opportunities. We're going to the market this year with some very specific recruitment guidelines. We're looking for people that will come to us and potentially be able to work in other locations, but in our case, specifically Asia.
And Don, you spoke of Allen Overy's move into the Australian market. I just want to touch on that for a moment. Did you see their move into the Australian market as an endorsement of something that you've already done or are doing?
Yeah, I did, and I'm not surprised, as you say. It has been good for us because, yes, I think as I mentioned before, it's actually kept the spotlight on what we have done, and that's been really good.
And Allen Overy, of course, is a global, well-known magic circle firm. Norton Rose doesn't have that magic circle label. Do you think that matters?
Well, I think it's just a label. I've always said that. I come from a background in a firm that essentially didn't exist 10 years ago. So that hasn't inhibited us from doing what we've needed to do, and it certainly hasn't inhibited us from going forward.
A&O's entry into the Australian market really, I think, shook up the market, got a lot of attention, but the other large Australian law firms were coming out and saying that not much has changed. Do you really agree with that, or is it something you just expect them to say?
I think there's a shift. I think a lot has changed. For example, we now are involved in 82 additional global panels that we weren't involved in before. We are sending people around the globe, and we will continue to do that, and we're looking to bring Norton Rose expertise in certain areas as well. We appointed 4 new lateral partners last week, and we're looking for probably another 25. So things are changing, whether people acknowledge it or like it, they are changing, and we, as for example, are a very changed firm and will be a very changed firm in the next 12, 24 months and beyond.
And just finally, Don, you're talking about standing items for Norton Rose. What are the main things you're looking to set out to achieve in the short and long term?
I think from our perspective, one of the big programs we have is getting our global key clients and targets right, and that's interesting. That's something that I'm in charge of from an international perspective. If we nail that, then that will be very significant, and we will. We certainly achieve things when we set our minds to it, but that's the big thing. I think get the clients, deal with them globally, provide the same level of service and quality of service everywhere you provide it.
Don Boyd, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, David.
That was Don Boyd, Group Deputy Chief Executive of the Norton Rose Group and Managing Partner of Norton Rose Group Australia.